Discovery of the Quantum Archive. The quantum core pulsed with an otherworldly blue light as Dr. Sarah Chen approached it, her breath fogging the inside of her helmet. After 3 months of excavation on Kepler 186f, they had finally breached the central chamber of what appeared to be an ancient alien archive. The structure lay buried beneath kilometers of crystalline rock, preserved perfectly in the planet's stable environment. Energy readings are still climbing, reported Dr. James Rodriguez from his position at the mobile scanning station. His dark eyes remained fixed on the holographic display floating above his wrist computer. Whatever this thing is, it's been running on its own power source for at least 50,000 years. Sarah nodded, carefully making her way around the cylindrical quantum core. Its surface was etched with intricate patterns that seemed to shift and flow like liquid metal. The chamber itself was massive, easily 100 meters in diameter, with the core rising from floor to ceiling like a giant technological pillar. Various consoles and interfaces lined the walls, their surfaces still pristinely maintained by automated systems they had yet to fully understand. The pattern recognition algorithms have made progress with the symbol language, called out Dr. Yuki Tanaka, their linguistics expert. Her small frame was dwarfed by the enormous holographic display she worked at. It appears to be some kind of weapons research facility. Sarah froze mid-step. Weapons? Are you certain? The contextual markers are quite clear, Yuki confirmed, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. This facility was dedicated to developing what they called quantum-shifted weaponry. The technology seems to operate on principles we've barely begun to theorize about. Before Sarah could respond, their communication system crackled to life. Dr. Chen, this is Mission Control. We have an urgent situation developing. Please secure your findings and prepare for an emergency briefing. The tension in the controller's voice made Sarah's stomach tighten. In 15 years of tenorcheology, she'd never received an emergency briefing. Understood, Control. Give us 10 minutes to secure the site. As her team worked to lock down their equipment, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that their discovery of this weapons archive wasn't a coincidence. The universe rarely dealt in such convenient timing. 20 minutes later, Sarah and her core team gathered around the communications array in their base camp. The holographic projection showed Admiral Helena Torres, her weathered face grave as she addressed them. What I'm about to tell you is classified at the highest level. The Admiral began without preamble. 12 hours ago, our deep space detection network picked up a massive object decelerating at the edge of our solar system. Initial analysis suggests it's an artificial structure approximately 500 kilometers in length. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. James was the first to speak. First contact. Not exactly, Torres replied, her expression darkening. The object is broadcasting a signal. Our AI systems just finished decoding it. She paused, and Sarah could see the weight of command heavy on her shoulders. It's a declaration of intent. They're claiming our solar system as their territory. Any resistance will be met with, and I quote, immediate species termination. Sarah felt her blood run cold. How long do we have? At their current velocity, they'll reach Earth in 8 months. Torres leaned forward, her image distorting slightly. Dr. Chen, your discovery might be our only hope. I'm authorizing the immediate formation of Project Starfire. You and your team will have unlimited resources to understand and adapt the quantum weapons technology you found. Admiral, Yuki interjected, the language and technology are incredibly complex. 8 months might not be enough time to. Then we'll have to make it enough. Torres cut her off. Because in 8 months, humanity either fights back or faces extinction. A fleet of specialized ships is already en route to your location. They'll begin transporting the core and critical artifacts back to Earth immediately. As the briefing concluded, Sarah turned to look at the quantum core through the base camp's reinforced windows. Its blue light pulsed steadily, like a heartbeat, as if it had been waiting all these millennia for this exact moment. I need everyone's decision now, she addressed her team. This just went from an archaeological mission to a military research project. Anyone who wants to step down will be transported back to Earth with full commendations." James laughed, though there was little humor in it, and missed the chance to save humanity. "I'm in." "The linguistic challenges alone are fascinating," Yuki added with a determined smile. "Besides, someone needs to make sure you don't mistranslate something and blow up the solar system." One by one, every member of her 15-person team voiced their commitment to stay. Sarah felt a surge of pride mixed with fear. They were the best in their fields, but they were scientists, not weapons developers. Yet now, humanity's survival might depend on their ability to understand and adapt technology far beyond their current scientific understanding. Dr. Chen called one of their junior researchers, panic evident in his voice. "You need to see this." Sarah rushed to his monitoring station. The display showed new data from their deep space sensors. The alien vessel had launched smaller objects, hundreds of them, accelerating toward various points in the solar system. "They're sending advanced scouts," Sarah realized. "They're not waiting 8 months to begin their survey." She quickly opened a channel to Admiral Torres. "Admiral, we have a complication. The enemy is already deploying scout ships. We need those transport vessels here as soon as possible." "Understood, Doctor. They'll arrive in 72 hours. In the meantime, your team has full authorization to begin power-up sequences on any systems you think might help us understand the weapons technology. Good luck." As the communication ended, Sarah turned to her team. "James, Yuki, you're with me. The rest of you, begin documenting everything. We need to know exactly what we're dealing with before we start activating ancient alien weapons." The 3 scientists made their way back to the quantum core chamber. As they approached the central console, Sarah took a deep breath. "All right, humanity just got thrown into the deep end of the cosmic pool. Let's make sure we learn to swim fast." She placed her hand on the console's interface, and the quantum core's pulsing light intensified. Around them, systems that had lain dormant for 50,000 years began to awaken. The race to save humanity had begun. In high orbit above Kepler 186f, the first alien scout ship dropped out of faster-than-light travel, its sensors already probing the planet's surface. The game of cat and mouse had begun, but the mice had just discovered the blueprint for a better mousetrap. The question was, could they build it in time? Project Starfire Initiative. The underground facility beneath the Rocky Mountains hummed with activity. 3 weeks had passed since the quantum core's arrival from Kepler 186f, and Project Starfire had transformed the former missile silo into humanity's most advanced research center. Dr. Sarah Chen stood before the assembled team of scientists and military personnel, the quantum core's familiar blue glow reflecting off the reinforced glass behind her. "The quantum weapons system operates on principles we're only beginning to understand," she explained, manipulating the holographic display. "It doesn't just destroy targets, it alters their fundamental quantum state. In theory, it could age a ship's hull 1,000 years in seconds, or temporarily phase matter out of our dimension entirely." Admiral Torres, attending via secure hologram, leaned forward. "And you're certain we can adapt this technology to our existing defense platforms?" "With time, yes," Sarah replied, sharing a knowing look with James Rodriguez, who stood at the primary control interface. "But there's a complication. The system requires an impossible amount of processing power to target effectively, more than any computer we've built could handle." Captain Maya Patel, their military liaison, frowned. "The alien scouts have already mapped 3 of our outer colonies. We're running out of time for complications, Doctor." "Actually," Yuki Tanaka interjected, stepping forward with her tablet, "we may have found a solution. The original builders didn't use computers to control the weapons at all. They used their minds." The room erupted in murmurs. Admiral Torres raised her hand for silence. "Explain." Yuki pulled up a series of translated diagrams. The quantum core was designed to interface directly with conscious thought. The builder's brains served as biological quantum computers, capable of processing the vast amounts of data needed to target the weapons effectively. "That's impossible," one of the military scientists protested. "The human brain couldn't handle that kind of input." "Under normal circumstances, no," James agreed, joining the discussion. "But we've discovered something interesting about the core's radiation signature. It appears to enhance neural plasticity and quantum entanglement within organic brain tissue. In simple terms, it modifies the operator's brain to handle the load." Sarah took control of the briefing again. "We've already begun developing a neural interface system based on this principle. Early tests are promising, but we need volunteers willing to undergo the enhancement process." The room fell silent. Captain Patel stood up straighter. "I volunteer." "Maya, wait," Sarah cautioned. "There are risks. We don't fully understand how the enhancement process will affect human consciousness. The changes would be permanent." "Better than the permanent changes those aliens have planned for Earth," Maya replied firmly. "How many operators would you need?" Sarah glanced at her data. The original system was designed for a minimum of 5 synchronized operators. Given human neural architecture, we'd need at least 7 to maintain stable control. "You'll have them by tomorrow," Admiral Torres declared. "Captain Patel will lead the first team of neural operators." "Dr. Chen, how soon can you begin the enhancement process?" Before Sarah could answer, alarms blared throughout the facility. James rushed to his console. Multiple quantum fluctuations detected in the Kuiper belt. The alien scouts are using some kind of FTL communication network. "Show me," Sarah ordered. The main display filled with sensor data. Dozens of scout ships were converging on a single point, their energy signatures pulsing in a complex pattern. "They're compressing the data from their survey," Yuki realized, her fingers flying over her interface, "sending it back to their main fleet." Admiral Torres's hologram flickered as she issued rapid commands to her staff. "How long before the main fleet receives the data?" "At their current transmission rate." James checked his calculations. 6 hours. "Once they know the layout of our defenses, they'll accelerate their timeline," Torres finished grimly. "Dr. Chen, you have 48 hours to get the first team of operators ready. Captain Patel, select your people. The rest of you, do whatever it takes to get this weapon system operational." As the briefing dispersed into controlled chaos, Sarah pulled Maya aside. "Are you sure about this? The neural enhancement process will change you fundamentally. You won't be the same person afterward." Maya's dark eyes were determined. "None of us will be the same after this war, Sarah. At least this way, I might help us win it." She managed a small smile. "Besides, someone has to test this thing before we plug 7 people's brains into it." Sarah watched as Maya left to select her team, then turned back to the quantum core. Its pulsing had grown stronger, almost eager, as if it sensed its moment of awakening approaching. She couldn't shake the feeling that they were missing something important about the original builder's warnings. "Dr. Chen," James called out, "the neural interface prototype is ready for preliminary testing." Sarah took a deep breath, squaring her shoulders. They were about to attempt something unprecedented, fundamentally altering human consciousness to interface with ancient alien weapons technology. The possible consequences were staggering, but the alternative was extinction. "Begin power-up sequence," she ordered. "Let's hope humanity is ready for what we're about to become." In the depths of the Kuiper belt, the alien scout ships completed their transmission. The data burst raced across the void, carrying detailed maps of Earth's defenses to the approaching fleet. Humanity had just lost any hope of surprising their enemy. Now their only advantage lay in the mysterious quantum core and 7 volunteers willing to risk their minds to master its power. The countdown to humanity's transformation had begun. The neural interface. Captain Maya Patel floated in an endless sea of quantum data, her consciousness expanded beyond anything she had ever imagined possible. The neural interface hummed against her temples, threads of light dancing beneath her skin as the quantum core's energy flowed through her enhanced nervous system. Around her, 6 other minds blazed like stars in the darkness, each one a fellow operator connected to the vast network they now shared. Neural synchronization at 93%. Dr. Chen's voice echoed from the physical world, seeming distant and muffled compared to the crystal clarity of quantum space. "Maya, can you hear me?" "Yes," Maya responded, her voice strange in her own ears. "It's incredible. I can see everything. The quantum fields, the probability waves, even the dark energy flowing between stars." In the control room, Sarah Chen watched the neural activity displays with a mixture of awe and concern. The 7 operators lay in specially designed interface chambers, their bodies suspended in nutrient-rich fluid that helped manage the intense heat generated by their enhanced neural activity. Captain Patel's team had been chosen for their exceptional psychological stability and neural plasticity. Lieutenant Kai Zhang, Dr. Maria Santos, Commander David Cohen, Lieutenant Sophia Petrov, Dr. Marcus Webb, and Sergeant Anna Reyes. "Their brains are rewiring themselves at an unprecedented rate," James reported, monitoring the quantum fluctuations around each operator. "The core's energy is creating new neural pathways, quantum entangling their consciousness." Yuki looked up from her station, where she continued to translate the original builder's warnings. "Sarah, I've found something concerning." The builder's logs mention a phenomenon they called cognitive drift. The longer operators stayed connected, the more their consciousness began to merge. Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. "Maya, can you and your team maintain distinct thoughts? Individual identities?" Inside the quantum network, Maya reached out to her fellow operators. Their thoughts brushed against hers like silk on skin, each mind unique yet increasingly familiar. "We're still ourselves, but it's becoming harder to tell where one consciousness ends and another begins. It's not unpleasant, just different." Lieutenant Zhang completed her thought. "Like we're becoming parts of something larger." "Something's happening," Commander Cohen reported suddenly. "I'm detecting quantum distortions at the edge of our sensor range. Multiple signatures, moving fast." Sarah quickly checked the physical sensors. Confirmed. 3 alien scout ships just dropped out of FTL near Jupiter. "This is it, people. Time to test if this actually works." The operators' shared consciousness expanded outward, reaching across space through the quantum core's vast network. They could feel the alien vessels like discordant notes in the quantum symphony of the solar system, their advanced drives leaving ripples in spacetime. "Target locked," Maya announced, her voice harmonizing with her team's. "Quantum weapon systems online, ready to engage on your command." Admiral Torres's hologram appeared in the control room. "You have authorization to fire, Captain. Show us what this weapon can do." The 7 operators moved as one, their enhanced minds processing quantum calculations that would have taken supercomputers years to complete. They selected the lead scout ship as their first target, analyzing its quantum structure down to the subatomic level. "Firing," Maya declared. A beam of pure quantum energy lanced out from Earth's defense platform, invisible to normal space, but blazing like a supernova in quantum space. It struck the alien vessel, and reality itself seemed to hiccup. The ship's hull began to age rapidly, centuries passing in seconds. Metal crystallized, circuitry crumbled, and atomic bonds weakened. Within moments, the mighty vessel had deteriorated into a cloud of ancient debris. The remaining scout ships immediately altered course, their engines flaring as they attempted to escape. But the operators were already tracking them, their shared consciousness allowing them to predict and target the vessel's quantum probability paths. 2 more quantum beams fired. 2 more ships disintegrated, their matter scattered across probability space. The entire engagement had lasted less than 30 seconds. "Holy shit," James whispered, staring at the sensor readings. It actually worked. But Sarah noticed something worrying. The operators' neural patterns were becoming increasingly synchronized, their individual brainwaves harmonizing into a single complex pattern. "Maya, I need you all to disconnect now. We need to run full neural scans." There was a pause before Maya responded, her voice overlapping with the others in an unsettling chorus. "We see them coming, Sarah. The main fleet. We can see them through quantum space, moving between the stars. So many ships, so many minds bent on destruction. We need to stay connected, need to be ready." "That's an order, Captain," Admiral Torres barked. "Disconnect immediately." The operators complied, though Sarah could see it took them considerable effort to separate their consciousness from the quantum network. As the neural interface powered down, Maya and her team gasped like swimmers breaking the surface of a deep ocean. "Their neural patterns are stabilizing," James reported, "but there are significant changes to their brain structure. The quantum enhancement process is accelerating." Sarah helped Maya sit up as the interface chamber drained. "How do you feel?" "Like I'm half blind and deaf," Maya admitted, blinking rapidly. "Everything feels so limited now, disconnected." She looked at her team, and Sarah saw them exchange glances of perfect understanding. "We touched something out there, Sarah. Something vast and ancient. The quantum weapon isn't just a weapon. It's a doorway to a higher state of existence. A doorway the original builders warned us not to step through." Yuki reminded them, her face grave. "The question is, can we use it to save humanity without losing our humanity in the process?" As if in answer, the quantum core's pulsing increased, its light taking on a deeper, more resonant blue. Through the neural enhancement, the operators could feel it calling to them, promising power and understanding beyond human comprehension. The temptation to reconnect was almost overwhelming. Admiral Torres surveyed the team with concern. "You have 12 hours to rest and undergo medical evaluation. After that, we need you back in the interface. The alien fleet has accelerated its approach. They'll reach Mars in less than 2 weeks." Sarah watched her friend Maya carefully, noting how she and the other operators seemed to move in subtle synchronization, their movements unconsciously aligned. They had proven the quantum weapons worked, but at what cost? And would 7 partially merged human minds be enough to face an armada of alien ships? The answer to humanity's survival might lie in evolution rather than technology, and forced evolution that was already changing the operators in ways they couldn't fully understand. The race between transformation and extinction had entered its final phase. First Contact Protocol. The Martian defense perimeter bristled with quantum weapon platforms, each one humming with energy drawn from the ancient core. In their interface chambers deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Maya's team monitored the approaching alien fleet through quantum space. Their enhanced minds could sense the vast armada long before conventional sensors detected it, a roiling storm of aggressive consciousness approaching at relativistic speeds. "They're slowing down," Maya reported, her voice overlapping with her teammates in that unnervingly harmonious way that had become normal over the past week. "Preparing to drop out of FTL near Deimos." Dr. Sarah Chen studied the holographic display, noting how the operator's neural patterns had almost completely synchronized. After multiple combat simulations, the 7 had developed an efficiency that bordered on true hive mind status. They thought and moved as one, their individual personalities becoming harder to distinguish with each passing day. "We're detecting a transmission from the lead vessel," Yuki announced from her communication station. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies." Admiral Torres's hologram nodded grimly. "Put it through." The alien message filled the command center, translated in real time by their AI systems. "Primitive species, you have demonstrated possession of quantum manipulation technology beyond your evolutionary stage. Surrender this technology immediately or face immediate extinction. You have 1 orbital period of your 3rd planet to comply." "They're afraid." Lieutenant Zheng's voice emerged from the quantum link, distinct for a moment before merging back into the operator's chorus. "We can sense their fear through quantum space. They've never encountered another species wielding this level of technology." Sarah exchanged glances with James. The neural enhancement had progressed far beyond their initial projections. The operators weren't just controlling the quantum weapons anymore. They were developing abilities they'd never anticipated. "Admiral," Maya's composite voice called out, "request permission to show them exactly what this technology can do." Torres straightened her uniform. "Permission granted, Captain. Initiate first contact protocol." The operator's consciousness expanded through the quantum network, their enhanced minds reaching out to touch the alien fleet's quantum signature. Through their shared perception, they could see the enemy vessels as collections of probability waves and quantum states, each one a symphony of possibilities waiting to be rewritten. "Multiple targeting solutions acquired," Maya reported. "We can take out their entire front line in a single volley." "Do it," Torres ordered. 7 minds moved as one, and the quantum weapons platforms around Mars flared to life. Beams of concentrated quantum energy lanced out across space, each one carrying the power to rewrite reality itself. The alien ship's advanced shields, designed to stop conventional weapons, might as well have been tissue paper against weapons that operated on fundamental forces of the universe. The front line of the alien fleet simply ceased to exist, their quantum states scattered across probability space. 40 ships, each one larger than anything humanity had ever built, reduced to quantum noise in less than a second. The remaining alien vessels immediately began emergency maneuvers, their drives flaring as they attempted to retreat. But the operators were already tracking them, predicting their quantum probability paths with perfect accuracy. "Second wave preparing to fire," Maya announced. But before they could launch another attack, something massive shifted in quantum space. "Energy spike," James shouted. "They're powering up some kind of quantum device of their own." A pulse of distorted spacetime erupted from the alien flagship, racing toward Mars at impossible speeds. The operators sensed it coming through quantum space, a wave of destructive probability that would unmake anything it touched. "Defensive measure Alpha," Sarah ordered, but the operators were already moving. Their enhanced minds reached out, grabbing the incoming quantum wave and wrestling with its fundamental structure. 7 human consciousness, merged into one yet still distinctly individual, fought against the alien attack on a level of reality most humans couldn't even perceive. "We can't stop it," Commander Cohen's voice emerged from the chorus. "But we can redirect it." The operators strained, their physical bodies convulsing in their interface chambers as they forced the quantum wave to curve around Mars. The massive energy discharge shot past the red planet, its power barely diminished. "The wave is heading toward the sun," James reported. "Impact in 3, 2, 1. The quantum wave struck the sun's photosphere, and for a moment, reality itself seemed to shudder. The star's quantum structure fluctuated wildly, its probability waves dancing between states. When it stabilized, a massive solar flare was already building, far larger than anything in recorded history. "Alert all colonies," Torres barked. "Maximum radiation protocols. That flare will hit Earth in 8 minutes." But the operators were focused on something else. Through quantum space, they could sense a change in the alien fleet's collective consciousness. The fear they detected earlier had transformed into something approaching panic. "They're retreating," Maya reported, triumph and exhaustion mingling in the operator's chorus. "Their quantum weapon failed, and they've never seen anything like what we just did. They're running." The alien fleet's drives flared brilliant blue as they accelerated away from Mars, preparing to jump to FTL. Within minutes, they had vanished from normal space, though the operators could still sense their quantum wake stretching across the void. As the neural interface powered down, Sarah rushed to Maya's chamber. Her friend's eyes were glowing faintly blue, quantum energy still coursing through her enhanced nervous system. "Did we win?" Maya asked, her voice her own again, though weakened. "We drove them off," Sarah confirmed, helping Maya sit up. "But something tells me they'll be back. And next time, they'll be better prepared." Maya looked at her team, each one emerging from their chambers with the same ethereal glow in their eyes. "So will we," she said, and Sarah noticed how they all nodded in perfect unison. "We're learning, Sarah. Every time we connect to quantum space, we understand more. About the weapons, about reality itself." She paused, her expression troubled. "About what the original builders became." Sarah felt a chill as she remembered Yuki's latest translations of the builder's warnings. "Maya, I need you to be honest with me. Are you still you?" Maya smiled, but there was something ancient and knowing in her glowing eyes. "I'm still me. We're all still ourselves. We're just more than we were. And we need to be, because this war isn't over. It's barely begun." As if to emphasize her point, the quantum core's pulsing intensified, its light synchronizing with the glow in the operator's eyes. Humanity had won its first major battle against an advanced alien species, but victory had come at a price. The question was, how much more would they have to sacrifice to win the war? The solar flare approached Earth, its quantum structure still distorted by the alien weapon. Soon, humanity would face its first test of survival in this new age of quantum warfare. But they faced it change, evolved, armed with weapons that could rewrite reality itself. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity's greatest strength wasn't its technology, but its willingness to adapt, to transform, to become whatever it needed to be to survive. Quantum Ascendance. Dr. Sarah Chen stood before the hastily assembled World Council, the quantum core's pulsing light casting shifting shadows across the underground chamber. 3 days had passed since the battle at Mars, and the alien fleet's retreat had given humanity precious time to prepare for their inevitable return. "The operators have deciphered more of the builder's records," Sarah explained, trying to keep her voice steady. "We now understand why they erased themselves from existence. The quantum technology doesn't just enhance consciousness, it transforms it, elevates it to a higher state of being." "You're talking about evolution," one of the council members said. "Forced evolution. More like guided transcendence," Sarah corrected. "The builders didn't disappear because they were afraid of the technology spreading. They disappeared because they had evolved beyond the need for physical form entirely." The council chamber erupted in murmurs. Admiral Torres, her hologram flickering slightly, raised her hand for silence. "Dr. Chen, are you suggesting this is happening to our operators?" Before Sarah could respond, the quantum core flared brilliantly, and Maya's team appeared in the chamber. Not physically, their bodies remained in their interface chambers, but as translucent projections of pure quantum energy, their consciousness made manifest. "We can answer for ourselves." Maya's voice resonated through quantum space, harmonizing with her team's thoughts. Their combined consciousness filled the room like a tangible presence. "We are becoming something new. Something humanity was always meant to become." The council members recoiled, but Sarah stood her ground. She had known this was coming, had seen the signs in her friend's gradual transformation. "The alien fleet is returning," Maya continued, her quantum form shifting like starlight on water. "But this time, they're bringing their entire civilization, tens of thousands of ships, millions of minds bent on claiming this galaxy for themselves." "How long do we have?" Torres demanded. 3 days. Lieutenant Zhang's consciousness emerged briefly from the chorus before merging back. "They're gathering at the edge of the solar system, preparing for a final assault." "Then we evacuate," one council member declared. "Use the quantum weapons to cover our retreat while we—" "There is nowhere to retreat to." Commander Cohen's voice cut through the panic. "They won't stop until they've claimed every habitable world, consumed every resource. Humanity must stand here, must evolve, or it will perish." Sarah stepped forward, addressing her transformed friends. "What are you suggesting?" The 7 quantum forms merged closer together, their light intensifying. "The builders left us more than weapons," Maya explained. "They left us a path, a way to share their gift with all of humanity. Through the quantum core, we can extend the neural enhancement to everyone willing to accept it." "Mass evolution," Sarah whispered. "But the process, the risks, will be managed by us," Maya assured her. We understand now what the builders knew. This isn't just about survival, it's about transcendence. Humanity's next great leap forward. Admiral Torres straightened, her holographic form resolute. The choice must be voluntary. We can't force this transformation on anyone. Of course, the operators agreed in chorus. But those who choose to remain unenhanced will need to be relocated to shielded facilities. What's coming will affect all of quantum space. Reality itself will shift when two quantum-enhanced civilizations clash. The next 72 hours passed in a blur of activity. Around the world, volunteers lined up for neural enhancement, their minds linked to the quantum core through a network of smaller nodes that Maya's team had helped design. Sarah worked tirelessly, monitoring the transformation process, watching as humanity began to change. Not everyone chose enhancement. Millions opted to remain purely human, accepting sanctuary in specially shielded underground cities. But billions embraced the change, their consciousness expanding into quantum space, joining the ever-growing network of enhanced minds. When the alien fleet finally arrived, darkening Earth's skies with tens of thousands of ships, they found not a primitive civilization cowering in fear, but a transformed humanity ready to meet them on equal terms. Maya's consciousness reached out across quantum space, touching the alien minds. You came seeking to conquer, her thoughts echoed through reality itself, backed by billions of enhanced human minds. Instead, you will witness our ascension. The battle that followed transcended conventional warfare. Two civilizations wielding quantum weapons clashed across multiple dimensions of reality. Stars flickered as their quantum states were manipulated. Space-time rippled with the aftermath of temporal weapons. Entire fleets phased in and out of existence as probability waves collapsed and reformed. But the aliens fought alone, each ship isolated in its own consciousness. Humanity fought as one, billions of enhanced minds working in perfect harmony, their combined quantum consciousness dwarfing anything the universe had seen since the original builders themselves. In the end, it wasn't even close. The alien fleet retreated in disarray, their quantum weapons useless against humanity's unified consciousness. But humanity didn't pursue. They were already looking beyond such physical conflicts, their enhanced minds perceiving realities and possibilities that their purely human selves could never have imagined. Sarah stood in the quantum core chamber one last time, her own consciousness still unenhanced, watching as Maya's physical form began to dissolve into pure quantum energy. "Are you sure about this?" Sarah asked, tears in her eyes. Maya's quantum form smiled, already more energy than matter. "We're not ending, Sarah. We're becoming. The builders showed us the way, but we'll forge our own path. Humanity will seed its consciousness across the galaxy, evolve into something beautiful and strange and wonderful." She reached out with a hand that was now pure light. "There's still time. You could join us." Sarah smiled but shook her head. "Someone needs to remain to tell your story, to guide those who choose to stay human, to remember what we were, even as we celebrate what we're becoming." The quantum core pulsed one final time, and billions of enhanced humans began their transformation, their physical forms dissolving as their consciousness expanded into quantum space. They became beings of pure energy and thought, spreading across the galaxy like a new kind of starlight. Earth remained, watched over by its unenhanced guardians, a cradle of conventional human civilization. But the sky above had changed, filled with the quantum signatures of ascended humanity, exploring realities and possibilities that their ancestors could never have dreamed of. The aliens would return eventually, Sarah knew, but by then, humanity would be so far beyond them that conflict would be meaningless. The species that had begun as curious apes gazing up at the stars had become the stars themselves, their consciousness woven into the very fabric of space-time. In the end, humanity's greatest weapon hadn't been the quantum technology or even their ability to adapt. It had been their willingness to take a leap into the unknown, to transform themselves utterly, to become something new and wondrous and free. Sarah began to write, recording humanity's last great war and first step into an infinite future. Above her, the quantum sky pulsed with the light of billions of transformed minds, singing their new existence across the cosmos. The age of conventional humanity had ended. The age of quantum humanity had begun.